Oh, hello and welcome to Heather Henning from Food Matters at the Barn, who today we will be asking some questions as part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So let's get started. Question 1. What do you enjoy most about being an entrepreneur?
What do I enjoy most? I suppose really you're your own boss. You can make your own hours to suit your lifestyle, to suit around your family. But any little idea that you have that might seem, I suppose, to some people a bit maybe strange, you have got the ability to try and develop that little idea yourself, because it's niggling away at you and you think, I want to have a go at this and see does this actually work. So I really quite like not being answerable to anybody in some of the different things that I try.
What do you find most challenging about being an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's an easy one. That's a much easier question. If you don't do it, because I pretty much work by myself, I'm working by myself. If I don't do it and it's important and it doesn't get done, then there's nobody else. There's nobody else to come along. Nobody else knows exactly what's going on. There's actually no backup. I've only recently got someone to help me with my social media, and I can't believe the weight off my mind that it is to have somebody else to help me with one aspect of my business. So I think that's really the most challenging, is that everything is really, because my business is in its infancy, everything is really up to you. And sometimes that's hard.
When did you know you wanted to become an entrepreneur?
I have always had this idea of a cookery school in my head from I was tiny. From I was small. I've always loved cooking, and I like talking too. So the two things together were a good combination for a cookery school. But I think it really came to fruition about 20 years ago when I went with my aunt to help her one day at a cookery school. She was doing cookery demonstrations, and the lady that was helping her had surgery and she wasn't able to assist, so she asked me to do it. And I helped my aunt that day, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that just be something fab to do? And yep, 20 years later, it came to fruition. So I'd say about 20 years or so.
How did you get the idea for your business?
Well, when I went with my aunt to this cookery school, that was the first thing that put the idea into my head. And I thought a cookery school would be fantastic. But I had a look around at lots of the cookery schools that there are in Northern Ireland, and the thing that I noticed was that all of them have it's one session. You go for one session, 3-4 hour session. There wasn't anywhere that had a cookery course. So when I did a wee bit of market research, I realised that this could be something that could be quite unique, a 6-week cookery course with a follow-on cookery course that sort of up the skills levels, if you like. So I suppose I pitched the idea from somebody else in terms of, a cookery school isn't a new concept, and there's lots of them around, but there wasn't anywhere that I could see, and I still don't think there is, that do 6-week cookery courses.
What does a typical day look like for you?
There is no typical day. Every single day is different. And the one thing that I can guarantee is that whenever I have work on, everything else, is happening at the same time. Okay, so no day is the same, and you just take each day as it comes, and get through it as best as you can. Because I guarantee when I have people coming to the cookery school, somebody needs to do this, that, and the other in the house, or you've got to do whatever, and it just all happens. And then maybe 2 or 3 days after that, there's nothing on. So there is no typical day. You've just got to be able to run with whatever you're faced with that day. I mean, I've had situations here where, I've been preparing for a class, it's been coming the next day, and my little 3-year-old fell down the stairs, then the entire afternoon was spent in the hospital. So you just have a good network of friends and family around you that can help you out, because every single day is different, and you've just got to take what comes.
How do you come up with new ideas for your business?
Okay, well, new ideas for my business really are mainly recipes, or different recipes that I can use in cookery experiences. And because I'm into food, because I'm passionate about food, it's in my head all of the time. So even, this week on Wednesday, I was in Newry, And I was getting a few messages and what have you, and I came home with 7 different recipe cards, some that I picked up in Dunn's, some that I was literally walking past a shop and they had a stand and they had 6 cookery cards in there. Just went in, picked them up. It's in my head all of the time. Those cards come home, put them into a big bag, and you're constantly looking for new recipes. So it's not difficult to come up with new ideas because it's my thing. It's what I'm interested in. So it's in my head all of the time. Now, this year, for example, at Christmas time, I couldn't think of something that I wanted to do. It just wasn't in my head. I just didn't have a concept for a new Christmas dessert. So I just did the one that I did last year because I wasn't able to fit all the customers in. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But no, new ideas, that's what I'm thinking about all the time because it is my thing. My daughter, she came back from Balmoral show one year. I hadn't been, and she said to me, "Mum, I've got a brilliant present for you." And she said, "It's everything you love." And I said, "Okay, what is it?" She goes, "Well, I'll tell you this." She said, "It's food, it's Marks and Spencer's, and it's free." And I said, "Okay, is it the Marks and Spencer's food magazine?" And she said, "Yes, Mummy, that's what it is." Because she knew that, I used to work for Marks and Spencer's, and she knows that I love their food. And any sort of literature that they have about recipes or dishes, I'm grabbing that. Now, they're not all applicable. You can't use them all, but basically what I do is I collect all the recipes that I can. And when I come up with a new dish, I look to see what do I have recipes for that particular dish, and then look at what they put into it and then try to develop my own. So any literature that I can get my hands on, happy days.
Who is your biggest inspiration as an entrepreneur?
It's a lady called Jo Fairley, and she was the lady who founded Green and Black's Chocolate. Now, I came across her, I think it must be about 5 years ago now. I was asked to go to an event in Drummondtine. I couldn't even now tell you what the event was, to be honest with you. And I'll be honest, Edward, I didn't want to go. I had so much on, and I thought the last thing I need to go is to hear from this lady who has this massive business and how she had MBAs and how she had all of these amazing things that enabled her to enabled her to get this business going, because I don't have anything like that. I just have a real love for food. But the lady that had asked me to go was a family member and a really nice person, and I didn't want to not go because she'd asked me. Well, it was the best thing I'd ever been, because Jo was absolutely lovely. She didn't have an MBA in business. She didn't have all of these fancy things. She just had a passion for a good quality product. And I came away with little things like, don't follow every rainbow, trust your gut instinct, quality. Not one single person comes to your business that doesn't eat something, because when we sat down, we had little samples of Green and Black's chocolate. I think I became addicted to the chocolate that day, because every day since I've had a little nibble of it. I buy it every week. So it was just little basic things like that there. And I came away so relieved. Now, she has sold her business now to Cadbury's. I think it's Cadbury, I can't remember who it's to, but anyway, she sold her business now for an absolute fortune, and she's on to her next product, or on to her next project. But she was just so down to earth, and she was just, that was just really reassuring for me, that somebody like myself who really doesn't have any business experience, if you have the passion, you probably can do this.
What has been your most significant achievement?
I think the day that I had my first 6-week cookery course, and I had 4 people who came through that door and paid me money to come on a cookery course. I think, wow, I've done it. I've actually done it. People are going to part with their hard-earned cash to listen to what I have to tell them and what I have to show them. So for me, that was the most significant. Somebody wanted to come and they were willing to spend their money. So that was very much the most significant moment.
What goals are you still working towards achieving?
Well, like any business where you're running courses, the hardest thing is getting people through the door. Once I've got them through the door, no problem. It's no problem in the delivery of any of the courses. So getting somebody through the door is the hardest part. Now, I teach food safety as well, and I have taught food safety for a long time. I just deliver the courses, but I know from the people who are organising the courses that it's very difficult to get the courses organised, because of people's diaries, just for lots of different reasons. So I always knew that was going to be really difficult, and I'm glad that I knew that, because if I'd come into this, spent all the money that I have spent, and not known that, I honestly think I don't know how I could have coped. So my business goal is to someday have a waiting list. Have a list of people who want to come, and I just work my way through that list rather than putting up courses and trying to get them filled. It's getting better, there's no doubt about it. I mean, every Christmas, you know, the Christmas classes that I put up get filled with the people who've been throughout the year. But I would love to have my 6-week cookery courses running more frequently and have just have to send somebody an email, right, your next slot is because that is the bit, that admin bit is the bit that takes so much time. See, delivery of the course, no problem whatsoever. So my goal is to have a waiting list.
What do you get back from this activity?
You see, after a class, when I come into the house, and when I come into the house, I'm tired, you know, because you've been teaching people all day. There's quite a bit of cleaning up to do. Although my son helps me now, and that's fantastic. When I come into class and I get that wee text from someone who's just had, you know, chicken tikka and pilau rice for their tea, followed by, you know, chocolate brownies and a raspberry coulis or something like that, and they've said, we have so thoroughly enjoyed this, then that it's worth every, and you know, after class, as I said, you're tired, it's worth every single ounce of effort that you've done, because you have given somebody a new dish that they can replicate, that's easy, that they can replicate, you know. And I think actually making nice food for people is one of the nicest things you can do for someone. You know, it makes them feel loved, it makes them feel cherished, and it makes them feel, you know, they're cared for. And that's all a lot of people want is new, easy recipes and easy ways to do that. So when people get a few new recipes from coming to one of my courses, and they send me a wee text to say how much their family enjoyed it and how much confidence it's given them, that's amazing. That's all I want. That's better than getting paid.
Is there anything else you would like to say to anyone who is a prospective entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think what I would say was, you know, it's not going to be easy necessarily, okay? Don't be giving up your day job. You know, make sure you have another source of income, because it takes hard work and it takes every ounce of energy that you have, but it is so rewarding. Now, I know that if I hadn't done this, okay, if I hadn't done this, that it would niggle away at me for the rest of my life that I didn't do it, because it has been in my head for so long. You know, I'm probably quite boring to talk to, because it's my passion. It's not, I wouldn't say it's all I want to talk about, but I do mention it to most people that I meet, you know. But it would have really niggled away at me if I hadn't given it a go, you know. And sometimes there isn't very much money in it, but the business is in its infancy, and it will get there. And one day I will have that waiting list of people who want to come along. But just follow your gut instinct. Don't chase every rainbow. I mean, everybody will give you advice all the time. If one more person says to me, you need to do the perfect steak night, that's how you'll get people here. You know, I'm not a cookery skill like that. We've got cookery skills all over Northern Ireland doing those things. I'm here to tell you how to make something, a proper lasagna, that you aren't using any jars of sauce. One of my most popular dishes is an apple tart. I'm at a different level, so you can't listen to everything that everybody tells you. You know, because they'll give you great advice. You know, in your own gut instinct, what do you need to do and what people want. So just say, yeah, I'll think about that, you know, and just, you know, put it to the side. But if you don't do it, it's a really good idea, and if you don't do it, I think it'll niggle you for a very long time. And when you do start to do it, trust your gut instinct every time. You can't chase every rainbow, and you can't follow up every suggestion that every person makes. You physically don't have time, because at the end of the day, it's just you. You know, it's really just you doing it.
At this point, I'd just like to introduce you to an idea that we've had this week, where we are looking at everybody leaving a question for the next interviewee. And the last interviewee has left a question for you, which is, what motivates you? What
motivates me? I think the fact that there is a direct relationship with what you eat and your health and how you feel, both mentally and, you know, mentally and physically as well. And I really think that motivates me. Now, you can go out there and you can do lots of different courses, you know, but there's few courses that you can do that you have the opportunity to practice what you learned 3 times a day. You eat 3 meals a day. So nobody can say that they come away with a nice recipe for, you know, a beef bourguignon, and they can't say that I've never had the opportunity to try it, because you eat your dinner 3 times. You eat a meal 3 times a day. So some of those meals, one time for a special occasion, could be a good, you know, beef bourguignon. So, you know, I think I think really that's it. You know, that's what sort of keeps me going, is that there's a direct relationship with what you eat and how well you feel, and I think it's a life skill. It's a life skill.
So would you like to leave a question for the next person?
Yes, I would. I would like to ask, how frequently did the idea of this venture come into your head before it became a reality?
Well, thank you very much, Heather, for all of your time and all the preparation that you have put towards this, and all the best with the future of your business. It has been really inspirational talking to you today, and I am sure a lot of the entrepreneurs watching this, or potential entrepreneurs watching this, will have found it absolutely invaluable. So thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.